In today's episode of the Motorhome Matt podcast,
we ask the question, who are the NCC?
In the news, a big announcement from the Camping and Caravanning Club.
And we answer your questions on aftermarket warranties, towing a motorcycle and filling a jerry can up at a petrol station.
Welcome to the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
Industry insights and expert advice for the world of motorhomes, caravans and campervans. It's brought to you by thatleisureshop.com and sponsored by Ripe.
Now, please do remember to follow on your favourite podcast app, or if you're watching on YouTube, click that little bell and the button that says subscribe.
Shock horror in the news. The Camping and Caravanning Club are not attending either of the upcoming NEC shows. Matt, that's a biggie.
So I was tipped off that the club were not attending the show this year, October 2025, and as far as I can tell, the February show, 2026. And I was shocked. I mean, they're part of the fabric of our landscape.
They're the structure. They're the foundation on which it's built.
But they've certainly been around a long time. And so I invited Andrews, the spokesperson from the Camping and Caravanning Club, onto the podcast to try and unpack what was going on for them and why. Why aren't they going? Is this purely a financial challenge? Why aren't they coming to the show? And sadly, they had nobody available to come on. But they did give us a statement. Keith, you can read it for us.
We've decided to pause our attendance at the Motorhome and Caravan show and the Caravan and Motorhome show at the NEC. The club is celebrating its 125th anniversary in 2026, and we want to focus on building excitement and buzz around this exceptional milestone. It will be a very exciting time for us, and we want to make 2026 a truly celebratory year. Full details will be revealed in due course.
So Andrew did say that the club might be happy to come on the podcast in the future to talk about that. So I get that they want to be future focused. Totally makes sense. But they are going to be missed. I spend lots of time with Andrew Dickens, cooking together and having a chat live on their stand. Will the driver training sessions happen, the towing experience that they offer with all the caravans? Fliss and the team do that every year, so I assume that's not happening either. So it's a big blow, and campsites are getting a continued bad rep in our comments all the time.
Why?
Well, people saying they're overcharging, too expensive, 50 quid a night for a piece of grass and a toilet block that was last decorated 10 years ago. You know, I mean, I said that in a recent reel.
And somewhere to plug in. And remember, electricity prices in particular have gone through the roof in the last few years.
Lots of people complaining about that, saying, well, I'm out all day. Yeah, I'm paying the same as that massive, great Niesman Bischoff motorhome that's consuming electric all day, and I'm paying the same as them. Or I'm there in a tent. Why am I paying the same as them for a piece of grass? And they're using all the electric. All I'm doing is charging my phone. So I get the disparity between that. Charging for electric, we've covered this before, certainly as a fairer way. But you wrap all of that up, and I think campsites are getting a bad rep. They've had a tough gig over the last 5 years. The weather's been terrible. Lots of waterlogged pitches means they can only use a smaller percentage of their resource. Undoubtedly, costs have gone up for them, and so they are charging more. But we are going to unpack this some more in the future. Not so much what's going on with the club. Hopefully, they'll come on and we can discuss that with them directly.
But it's still a shock they're not going to be at the next two NEC shows.
It is going to be a bit. They are going to be missed. So what we are doing, though, is going to unpack some innovation on campsites. How, as a campsite owner, do you innovate? And is that part of this problem that the club are facing? I've always said before, and I'll say it again, if you don't innovate, you evaporate. And I think there's a lot of complacency in this industry, and that is the enemy of success. And I think you have to be creative. And so what I'm going to do, we've been invited to a couple of campsites who are innovating and doing stuff differently and charging for it too. And they are very successful. So I'm going to unpack with them for the benefit of other campsites listening, but also for you, the consumer, that goes to a campsite, or as someone like me, I'm part of the problem, chooses to not go to a campsite. because we've got an off-grid capable motorhome. We can spend nights off-grid, and I think that's a huge challenge for campsites.
And as we've said before in podcasts in the past, that technology has now caught up with people's ambition to not use a campsite. You know, the motorhome is now capable of powering itself, and so you've got the options.
Yeah, and people love going off-grid, this trend for going off-grid. So this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think if campsites don't do something to change their fortune, then it's just a matter of time before more and more campsites start to disappear.
I mean, just going back to the Camping and Caravanning Club, it is maybe some of the challenge in the title of the club, you know, where motorhoming is taking over, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the other club, the Caravan Club, went through a whole rebrand and became the Caravan and Motorhome Club. So yeah, there is a big perception. Maybe people are missing the point. They think, oh, I'm in a motorhome, not a caravan or camping, so I shouldn't go there. Maybe that's a problem. I don't know.
Tempus fugit, as they say.
Do what?
Time marches on.
Time marches on. Well, yes, it does. But it's down to us as business owners and, you know, service providers to keep up with it and to keep attracting customers into our businesses. You know, we spend hours here trying to re-innovate ourselves and be a leading light and build a business, and we have to innovate constantly. And we love it here. So I wonder if there's lots of businesses out there in this niche that aren't.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I learned from years in commercial radio and being with salespeople, you know, it's not budget, it's desire that makes people buy things.
It's true.
Desire. Is your product wanted? Yeah.
And this pastime is a desirable, aspirational pastime. We don't need a motorhome, do we? I mean, there's all the mental health benefits of going away, sure. And you can argue they're needed. But I think, we have to innovate as an industry, and we need more innovation. So this is sad news. I'm saddened that they're not able to attend. Quite why, we've not been told any specifics. We've just been told they won't be at the October and the February show.
We will miss you. It's time for our product of the week, and this one has sparked a bit of chat last time, didn't it, Matt?
It did, yeah, and I'm glad because it shows people are paying attention. We're talking about NordVPN again, something I use every time I'm on the road, especially when connecting to campsite Wi-Fi or tethering abroad. You just never quite know how secure it is, do you?
No, especially if you're checking your bank or trying to get the telly working.
Exactly, yeah. A VPN, or a virtual private network, creates a private encrypted connection even on public Wi-Fi, so your data is protected and you can stream TV like you're still sat on the sofa at home in the UK. It's dead easy to set up and it works on all your devices.
We had a great comment from Graham on YouTube, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Graham Johnson, cheers for this one. He said, "You forgot to include that NordVPN gives you ad blocking in the price." And he's got a fair point, thanks Graham. And he's absolutely right about the ad blocking too. NordVPN includes a feature called Threat Protection, which blocks ads, trackers and dodgy websites before they even load. So your browser's quicker, safer and less annoying.
So you're staying secure, streaming your telly, dodging pop-ups as well?
Exactly, yeah. Especially useful when you're on slower Wi-Fi or using your data abroad, and you're not giving your details away on every site you visit.
Okay, so where do people get it?
Just head to nordvpn.com/Motorhome Matt, and you'll get 4 extra months for free on a 2-year plan, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk.
And the link's also in this episode description. And cheers again to Graham. A proper comment, that one.
Yeah, and if you've got a thought like that on gear tech or just what's going on in the motorhome world, stick it in the comments. We do read them. Welcome to our Alan Rogers Campsite of the Month feature here on the Motorhome Matt podcast. And as always, we're joined by Rob from Alan Rogers. Rob, where are we this month?
So we're going to Spain this time. Yes.
And whereabouts are we going?
We're heading to Costa Dorada, and the campsite is called Camping La Torre del Sol.
And where's this? Whereabouts in Spain?
So south of Tarragona. So if you're heading down that Mediterranean coast,
Yes.
you've got Barcelona,
Yes.
and then Tarragona's the next major town that you
Yes.
come across, about an hour and a half further south of Barcelona.
Okay. And what's this site good for?
So it's a little bit livelier than some of the other sites we've discussed, but it is definitely one for lovers of the beach and the pool.
Livelier? Why is it livelier?
They've got a little bit more going on the site. They've got more entertainments, that sort of thing. It's a big site with spacious pitches, sea views, but shaded areas, so obviously that's important down there in Spain. A large swimming pool complex with 3 outdoor pools, including water slides, heated indoor pool, children's pool.
Wow.
They've got that wellness centre, so you can get in there for your spa, sauna, hammam, massage treatments.
Nice.
Lots of other facilities, mini markets, so you don't even need to leave the site. Laundry, car wash facilities, bike hire. They've got everything going on.
What's incredible is how well appointed these sites are. It's incredible. But there's not just so much to do on site. There's loads in the area as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. So you heard of Portaventura?
Yes.
Have you been there?
Portaventura, yeah, of course.
So it's three theme parks in one, really. You've got Portaventura, which has rides and shows. Caribe Aquatic Park, which is obviously the big water park.
Yeah, it's amazing as well. And there's Ferrari Land, just
there is,
an hour, 20 minutes away.
All about 20 minutes away. UNESCO World Heritage Site of Tarragona, which is famous for its Roman ruins, ancient amphitheatre, that sort of thing. Or there's Delta del Ebro, which is a natural, it's the outflowing of the Lebre River, which is great for bird watching, kayaking, and exploring the wetlands.
Wow. And of course, food is a big feature at this campsite too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Three key restaurants really on the site. So you've got La Torre del Sol, which offers a range of traditional Mediterranean cuisine. Petit Racco, which means little corner. So that's ideal for your breakfast.
Breakfast in the sun.
Sit, and then if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, then they've got a couple of beach bars, so you can get beachside dining, a couple of sundowner cocktails, that sort of thing.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when is it open?
So the site's open from the middle of March, about the 19th in 2025, through to the end of October.
Okay. And what kind of price point are we talking about?
So they offer 5 pitch types. So they've got everything from a standard up to what they call the beachfront comfort, which are larger and obviously set right on the beach.
Beautiful.
Prices start from €32 for the pitch, and as usual, that includes 2 people, your vehicle, and electricity. They do have a 2-night minimum, so there is a minimum stay. But if you book through the Caravan and Motorhome Club, then there's a special offer. So if you stay for 7 nights, you get an extra night. 14 nights, 2 extra nights.
Okay.
So the longer the stay, the better value it becomes. Value, yeah. I mean, it's amazing value for what you're getting. It is
phenomenal value, yeah. So for some southern Spanish sun, where are we heading?
Camping La Torre del Sol, and that's south of Tarragona on the Costa Dorada.
Amazing. Can't wait to go. If you can find out more about all of Alan Rogers' campsites at mhmp.info/Alan Rogers.
It's the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
Brought to you with thatleisureshop.com and sponsored by Ripe. Okay, what are we talking about this week then, Matt?
We are talking about an organisation that is prolific in our industry. And again, they are part of the landscape we work on. They're called the NCC. And we want to know who they are, what they do, and most importantly, why as consumers you should care. Because most people have no idea who they are.
Well, I know they've got a very bright future because in Star Trek it's printed on the front of the Enterprise. NCC 1701, which has just gone 5 o'clock, by the way.
How on earth do you know that? Are you a Trekkie?
No, I'm not a Trekkie.
Is that this? Can you do that? You've got the costume at home and everything, haven't you? The arthritis is kicking in there, I can see, if you're watching on YouTube.
Live long and prosper. I'm not a Trekkie, no.
So, what does NCC mean? Naval Construction something?
Well, you know. You're the Trekkie.
I'm not a Trekkie at all. Anyway, that is the wrong NCC.
Look at those ears.
They're pointy. They're hiding under my headphones.
So NCC, what's it stand for? What is it?
So they are the National Caravan Council, and they are actually the organisation. NCC events run the NEC show that we love in February and October, but they also have loads of other departments and organisations within it, and they're a government lobbyist. They do all sorts of things in terms of supporting our industry, supporting the trade, and I thought just for some fun, at a recent NEC show, I would ask some visitors members to the show. Who are the NCC and what do they do?
I'm in the aisle with Paul. Paul, tell me, what does NCC do and why should you care?
I've never heard of them. NCC, National Caravan Club?
Nearly. Any idea what they do?
National Caravan Club. Are they a bit like the Camping and Caravanning Club?
Have you got any idea what NCC stands for?
Absolutely no idea at all.
Do you know what they do?
No, is it a national cricket club?
Cricket? No, it's not.
No? Oh, I have no idea.
I'm with Emma. Emma, tell me, what does the NCC stand for and what do they do?
Oh, I've never heard of NCC, but the sign behind you says powered by NCC, so is it something to do with electricity?
No, it's not.
So there you are. So if you're listening to this, do you know what the NCC do? So I was delighted when I asked Simon McGrath, who is the Director of Communications and Stakeholder Engagement at the NCC, to come on the podcast. And I started by asking Simon, who are the NCC and what do you do?
Well, let's just put a few things out there. We're not a cricket club, though that will be quite interesting. Nothing to do with Star Trek. No,
Oh, really?
yeah, we stand for the National Caravan Council, and the NCC, as we're known throughout the industry, we've been around for 85 years. We were founded in 1939, and in that time, the NCC has developed and grown. It's a trade association, and we have associated sort of arms and divisions, and we provide all sorts of products and services. But fundamentally, we're there for our members who are businesses that might be dealerships, manufacturers of caravans, motorhomes. We also represent holiday parks, residential park homes, and there's quite a real wide range of people within that whole supply chain, and that's fundamentally the NCC is a trade association for our entire sector, with a rich history and a rich pedigree of all that's provided for our industry.
Yeah. So you're a trade body, so your members are all in the trade. They're the businesses in the industry. So you say holiday parks, and which most people wouldn't realise. You run the NEC show. You have a whole team dedicated to doing that. You've got loads going on. We're going to unpack lots of it. But what do you do for your members then?
Well, fundamentally, we're there to support and represent our members. We're there to help them grow. We get involved with sharing lots of communications with them when it comes to regulations, government, new laws and legislations, that kind of thing. But we provide services like the NCC Training Academy. We provide a whole range of things that will really just support businesses within our sector to sort of grow, to provide great customer service, and to really ensure that they are working to the highest standards in terms of safety and product quality, and really, it's all those things that you would probably expect from a trade association.
Which ultimately then, of course, benefits the consumer, because you're fighting for better standards, not fighting, but campaigning for better standards within the industry, and training and bringing skill levels up.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we cannot, although we're a trade association, the NCC itself, we can never forget the consumer. The consumer is so important, because without the consumers, the companies wouldn't exist, we wouldn't exist. And so, although a big part of my focus is around communications to our members on a sort of what we'd call a business to business level, fundamentally it's really important that we still have that connection to and think about the people that are buying caravans and motorhomes, whether that's new or second-hand, people that are pitching up at holiday parks and campsites and so on. So it's really important that we have a consumer sort of focus too.
And as consumers, we often engage with the NCC without even realising it. So I mentioned the show. Let's talk about the show. There's 2 huge shows at the NEC in Birmingham, one in February, one in October. Massive events. I mean, about 100,000 people go to it across the week. And 300 dealers or exhibitors trading there.
I mean, the shows are brilliant. I've been going to the shows for a long time now. They're run by NTC Events, which again is a if you like, the events arm of the NCC, and they are hugely popular. Across 6 days, twice a year, you can get up to approaching 100,000 people there. We're looking forward to the next one, the Motorhome and Caravan show. That's going to run between the 14th and the 19th of October. There'll be hundreds of models on display, and for me, they are just great opportunities for consumers, people to go along to and see a vast range of models, to look at different types of layouts and that kind of thing. And I think they're great opportunities.
They're a great place to go and discover. All new, of course.
Yeah.
Only new vehicles at the shows. These two shows we're talking about. One of the things, though, that I think consumers are unaware of is that little sticker by the habitation door. When you climb into a motorhome or a camper van, you see this little manufacturer sticker that says NCC approved. What's that all about? Because this is really important.
It is, and it's been around for actually over 50 years now. And again, that comes back to the NCC's history and its heritage. It just shows that a manufacturer has been regularly assessed and accredited by the NCC for its specific products or model types, that they've been safety checked and they're compliant with British and European standards. And I think that's the kind of thing that will really help consumers hopefully make an informed purchase decision and give them that confidence too.
So you would suggest to a consumer then they look for that badge of approval, that little sticker on the side of the motorhome or the camper van or the caravan actually as well.
We say look for the tick.
Look for the tick.
It's a nice blue tick, and absolutely. And you know what? I've got a motorhome, Matt. I just said your name there, didn't I? In that sense, but I've got a probably about 15-year-old motorhome. It's brilliant. We love it, my wife and I. And it's there. It is that badge is there on the side. It's obviously an older NCC logo on the side, but it's that element of reassurance and actually the fact that it's been around for such a long time is really important. So we say look for the tick.
But it's also important to mention that for the manufacturers, they have to go through a regular assessment by the NCC to retain that approval, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have guys that go out, on visits to manufacturers' premises to do just that.
Yeah.
And that's an important part of the work. And I think that whole piece sort of really dials into where what the NCC does. That's just one part of a big array of services that we provide to the industry and therefore to consumers as well.
Yes.
About what we do and what we're all about.
So for a converter listening, then someone who's converting camper vans, for example, and they're thinking, well, I should be NCC approved because this is going to win me more business. How would they go about achieving that approval?
The first step is simply is to go onto our website or get in touch. Maybe if you're at the show, we usually have our sort of technical team there too. Just come and see us at a show, or just drop us a line via the website, give us a call to our offices, and we'll pick up the conversation from there.
There you go, brilliant, cool. So let's talk about the Approved Workshop Scheme. So this is an amazing scheme which was launched. How long ago was the AWS launched? Do you know?
Oh no, you see.
It was a while ago, wasn't it?
It's been around for quite a while, certainly
a
good few years, and I think it's a really important scheme because it's actually it's a joint enterprise between the Caravan and Motorhome Club and the Camping and Caravanning Club, and then the NCC as well. And it's the UK's largest group of independently assessed workshops, and there's more than 550 fixed or mobile workshops across the UK.
And it's constantly growing in membership, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very much regarded as like the benchmark, if you like, for motorhome and touring caravan servicing. And I know I've used it before. I'm a fan. As a motorhomer. It's just one of those things that actually, again, it helps give peace of mind, and key industry organisations are behind it, and really want it to be a success, and it is, and it provides a great service.
And often, if you're a owner of a motorhome that's still under warranty or a caravan, then you need to have the servicing done, don't you, by an approved workshop scheme, which many manufacturers do recognise. Not all, but increasingly they are recognising a service done by an approved workshop scheme, which of course means the servicing is even more convenient because you get the mobile guy to come to your drive and do it.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I've had that done before to where I store my motorhome. And it's just great. It's that, this particular guy I've had it to my van a few times. The depth of his knowledge is excellent.
Yes.
And he's always a pleasure to chat to, and even if it's something unrelated to the problem that I've got, he's always happy to show. Oh, let me just show you how to do this. Let me show you how to, and it's really, really good. And that's what's so important to schemes like the AWS.
So it's really important as well, if you're listening or watching this, that if you want to find an approved workshop scheme, you Google approved workshop scheme. If you Google AWS, you get Amazon Web Services.
Well, definitely look for approved workshop.
Definitely. Now, the other scheme you run as well is Chris. the caravan registration. I don't actually know what it stands for.
The Central Registration and Identification Scheme. I can't quite say
Central,
that.
not caravan. I didn't know that.
There
Okay,
you go.
to me, it's been the CRIS scheme forever.
Well-
So, what is this? Tell us what this is.
It's the UK's national database for registering and identifying caravans, and,
Yeah.
and it's similar in a way to if registering your car with the DVLA.
With a V5, which of course caravans don't have.
Yeah. So in many, last year it was something like 55,000 new and used caravans were registered. Now it's really important because actually, it proves you're the registered keeper. So a lot of this is around confidence of whether you're buying or selling, and it can, heaven forbid, if a caravan's stolen, it can help. In terms of identify your own caravan.
Yeah.
It helps with manufacturers with product recalls and warranties, and it's just a really important service that, again, is one of those things that we provide. It helps protect both buyers and sellers by offering that peace of mind through a transparent record, I suppose, and that's really important.
And you can tell if a caravan's been registered on CRIS because it has those indelible ink numbers embedded into the plastic window, doesn't it? And they're melted into the plastic.
I think that's a unique 17-digit number.
So you can contact CRIS with that number and the VIN number of the caravan, the chassis number, and then CRIS will tell you whether it's been stolen, written off, and so on. So it is a really useful service. In our storage business, we use that to confirm that a caravan being stored with us has not been stolen, and we have found a couple that have, and the owner didn't know, which is a bit unfortunate. So also there's a brilliant product which we're not going to unpack in detail because neither of us understand really how it works. It's called VinChip.
Yeah, well, and again, this is one of the arms of the NCC, if you like, but it's an advanced security marking system. So again, there's the NCC has a really important kind of focus on security of the product, on actually making sure that our own pride and joy, if you like, the thing, the caravan or the motorhome that we've bought are protected in some way, and that's what we offer through VinChip as well. So these are all important products that we help, alongside CRIS as well, that help keep our units safe.
And all these products are on the website, but you also find them at the show, don't you?
Yeah.
So you go and chat to the people.
And absolutely, we'll have people from VinChip at the show and CRIS, and it's just really good to go along, find out more, and see how you can, make sure that your own unit is as protected as it can be.
Now, the other great service I love at the show is the tow check facility. It's a great website, and if you're thinking of buying a caravan, I think, well, what car do I need to tow this particular caravan? This service matches specific cars, models and everything with a specific caravan. So it would tell you, wouldn't it, about the compatibility of the two. Great.
Yeah, using a traffic light kind of system, so it's nice and easy. I mean, it's a huge database. It's basically an online tool developed by the NCC, and it is just that. You want to know that your car is, and your caravan is a safe and legal match.
Yes.
And particularly important maybe if you're looking to change your car or buy a new caravan or something like that. That's just really important because you can go online and take a look, and it's something like we have on there something like 16,000 unique caravan model specifications.
Wow.
And it's just a huge amount of information.
So this is a free service available at the show, isn't it?
Well, it is at the show, yeah. I think you can go along, and if you introduce yourself and have a chat to our tow check people there, I think there's a sort of a limited number of free checks that you can do based upon the show visit.
Yeah, very good. Now, one of the things I often get asked is, where do I go to make a complaint? So someone's had a bad experience of a product or after-sales service, and they feel as the consumer there isn't really anybody got their corner and looking out for them. But you do offer a service, don't you? Tell me more.
Yeah, well, the NCC offers an informal dispute resolution service that basically aims to help resolve complaints that have been raised by anyone that's transacted with a business or company or an individual that is a member of the NCC, and the simplest way, there's lots of information on our website there. It's obviously quite an important service that we provide, but my recommendation there is if you did want to find out more, go to the NCC's website and look up the informal dispute resolution service.
Okay, brilliant, a very useful resource, I'm sure. Now, tell me a little bit about the government lobbying you do, because this is important. I often feel we're overlooked as a pastime. and we're billions of pounds worth. I'm not sure what we're worth as a niche. I'm sure there are some stats somewhere in the NCC library on the value of our industry. I know there are. It'd be great to know what they are, actually. But we often get overlooked by government, I feel. But you're there to campaign on our behalf as an industry. There was a big campaign going back in time in 1975 that you were leading.
Yeah. I mean, and again, and you're absolutely right. I mean, 1975, the NCC lobbied Parliament to cut the VAT on caravans, and it was successful in that. And again, you government will always be looking, budgets are always tight, government's always looking at where they can maximise, revenues into the public purse, and that was a really key one back then. But actually, if you just roll the clock forward a bit, Matt, even in 2020, government was again looking at introducing a new tax, and the NCC successfully led a lobby to secure a fair motorhome tax, and I think it's really important because you've got to have those relationships with government, with civil servants, with devolved parliaments too, as well as regulatory bodies. And it's important just to be at the table, for the NCC to have a seat at the table, to have a voice on behalf of the industry and speak on behalf of the industry, and to then be able to feed that back to our members and the wider industry. And so that kind of work is often out of sight, if you like. It's and yet it's really important work, because it's there representing our members in the industry, making sure we have a voice and that we're being listened to, and that we help shape policy and regulations and so on. That's a piece of work that we do that's really important. And obviously another much more recent example, don't quite like to mention the COVID word, but I mean, we obviously during lockdowns, everything closed. Too late. Yeah, sorry, I should have. But everything sort of closed down, and the NCC was absolutely sort of central to that work with government to help safely and successfully reopen businesses and holiday parks and campsites, and actually then also communicate the regulations at the time that were unique. And there was a lot of work that went on there.
My experience is that it was a massive success. I mean, a motorhome or caravan holiday became the only holiday you could actually have. Yeah. And I saw some ingenuity at campsites where I remember queuing to go in a toilet block, and there were pegs on the outside, and you grabbed a peg, and you couldn't go in without a peg. And you put it on your person, used the toilet, you washed your hands, and then you put the peg back. That meant someone, and if there were no pegs, no one was allowed in. And there were 6 pegs. Yeah. Oh, there you go. And there were something like 20 odd urinals and traps, but there were only 6 people were allowed in. Whether that was an NCC derived scheme, I don't know, but it was very effectively delivered. And you're right, the NCC were absolutely key. But there was another campaign as well in 2020, the luxury tax. The government were looking, weren't they, to put a massive premium on motorhomes, on luxury vehicles. Yeah. We're an easy target as the motorist, and we're tourists. We're right in the firing line. But the NCC were successful in batting that one away as well, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's where relationships come in, and it's about building those relationships with politicians and with senior civil servants, having constructive discussions, and getting consultation. Quite often government will actually come out with consultations, and they will actively encourage people to businesses, individuals to feedback on proposed new legislation. And so part of what we do is actually encouraging our members to take part, to share their views. They're usually done online, but actually, and they're quite comprehensive. I've certainly done plenty in my time, and they are really important. And that's part of what we would do on a communications level, is actually say to our members, hey, government's just announced a new consultation on this particular subject. Please, everybody, go online, share your thoughts, and also share them with us, so that we also get a good idea of what the sentiment is towards a specific subject. And ultimately, trade associations are really important in that, because we represent hundreds of different businesses, government would be overwhelmed if all of those hundreds of different businesses were to suddenly try to have a voice, try to get round the table for a meeting. But that's where we come in. We are representing those guys, all those businesses, and getting their input, getting their expertise, so that we can share that in the right positive way to shape regulations. And
so if you're listening to this and you are an NCC member, get involved. Don't ignore that post when it arrives from the NCC.
No, absolutely.
They need you. So, Simon, I want to ask you, we talk a lot about van life and the popularity and growth of motorhomes and camper vans and their ability to go off-grid and the challenges that presents to us as an industry and us as a country. What's your view on caravanning? Does it have a future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, caravanning is brilliant. I've done plenty of it over the years. The whole van life movement, I mean, clearly it's really struck a chord, and people seem to sort of love that element.
Which has got to be great
freedom.
news, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's absolutely. But it's also about being responsible when you're out there and making sure that, you're caring for the environment wherever you are. And I think, for me, I love pitching up in my motorhome camps. I would always look to go on a campsite or a holiday park, and I've got that infrastructure there. I've got the facilities. I think that's really important. But I think people do generally love that element of freedom, the freedom to go touring, to pop up wherever they might want to go. But I would always, recommend people look at campsites and holiday parks as the place to sort of stay. I know I do it. I'm going away this coming weekend. I'm off to the Peak District, a little campsite.
Oh, lovely.
And I love that kind of thing. And I'm just, I mean, I for me, you hook up, you get the kettle on, get the barbie out, and providing the weather's good, of course, which is guaranteed in this country.
Well, I was in Cornwall last week, and the weather wasn't great, and they still had the barbecue out.
There you go. Yeah, that's what awnings.
We just used the van as a windbreak.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I've done that many times. I've got a wind out awning on my motorhome and a windbreak too. And that moment, isn't it? Is kind of like Friday evening. Hopefully, you're not too far from home. Or in terms of having to finish work and then get on the road, and that point where I can just get the little Cadak barbecue going, start rustling up something. My wife Paula will be helping out, and it's just that kind of end of the week you can sort of relax a bit. And
there's something magic about getting away for a weekend, isn't it, in the van? It makes you feel like you've been away for a week.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is. You don't have to go far for a change of scene.
No,
I've always felt that. I mean, it's
Very
like
true.
you kind of quickly into the van on a Friday, late afternoon, early evening, and off you go.
Yeah,
and it's brilliant. And that, as you can tell, I'm passionate about the great outdoors anyway, and all that you can do through caravanning and motorhoming, and it's brilliant. And for me, you're absolutely right, Matt. A weekend break is just a really good way to reset.
Yes,
set things.
Absolutely.
Life's very busy.
Simon, it's been brilliant to have you in the studio. I know it was a long drive to get here today. We really appreciate you coming in and just sharing a little bit more about who the NCC are and why we as consumers should care. Because it is important, and we engage with it, as I said earlier, without even realising. We call the show the NEC show. It's actually the NCC show, isn't it, really?
Well, it would be the Caravan and Motorhome show coming up in October, and it's
we'll
run
be
by
there.
NCC events.
Absolutely.
And thank you, because it is. It's really important that we, people are more aware of us. Definitely not that cricket club. Another one with cricket, although rugby's more my game. But yes, we do. I mean, and it's really important that people are aware of us and what we do, because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, if you like, that is not always obvious to people.
Well, it's great to know there is a significant trade body that have got our back. That's
Absolutely.
key.
Yeah.
Where can people find out more about the NCC, whether they're in the business or they're a consumer and just want to find out more?
Well, the simplest thing is either search us online using one of the search engines, or go to our website, which is thencc.org.uk, and there's plenty of information there. And it's a good place to start.
Brilliant. Simon, thank you so much for coming in. It's great to see you always. And if I don't see you before, have a great weekend away, and I'll see you at the show in October.
Yeah, great to catch up, Matt. Thanks for your time.
That's Simon McGrath, the Director of Communications and Stakeholder Engagement at the NCC, the National Caravan Council.
Yeah, there you go. Now you know.
Bang on. So now we know. So what's your view on the approved workshop scheme then?
I love it. They're actually a Motorhome Matt approved organisation within the NCC. And I'm always banging the drum for people to go and get a habitation check every year on their motorhome, campervan, caravan, and go and get it done professionally. I see all the time people saying, oh, you can do that yourself. You can do some elements of it, but only an approved workshop scheme really has the right tools. The damp meter they have is often £700, and more importantly, the knowledge to check your vehicle, your pride and joy properly. They know where to look for damp, they know where to look for any electrical issue, and they know how to check the gas system properly to keep you safe. Carbon monoxide is so dangerous. So all the guys who are in the approved workshop scheme, fixed workshop or mobile, are regularly assessed and trained. There's also the MCA as well, which is a competitive scheme. So go to someone who is approved and has some recognition by an organisation like the NCC and their approved workshop scheme.
So how do I actually check if a dealer or a vehicle is approved then?
If you Google approved workshop scheme, if you Google AWS, you'll find Amazon's web services. So Google approved workshop scheme and you'll find all the list of the workshops near you.
It's the Motorhome Matt podcast with me, Keith Gooden.
And me, Motorhome Matt.
It's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com and sponsored by Ripe.
Remember, you can get 15% off your insurance premium by using the code Motorhome Matt when ringing them on the phone, or simply click the link in the description.
It's the Q&A, the questions and answers, where you ask the questions and Matt, the expert, he'll give you the answers. If he doesn't know himself, he will ask somebody who does. And first of all, we're going north of the border. Steve's in Dundee.
Hi, Matt and Keith. It's Steve here from Dundee. Thanks very much for the podcast, guys. It's really funny. It's really informative. We've had some fantastic advice from you guys over the years, so I really appreciate it. Quick question. We recently purchased via private sale a feed the cattle-based motorhome with a 9-speed automatic, 160 horsepower. Read on various forums that they could potentially be prone to failure. Don't know if that's, very rare, but just in your experience, Matt, is that something you've came across? And a final question, if I may, can you buy an aftermarket warranty after buying the van private that would cover the engine and gearbox? Thanks very much, guys. Keep it up. Bye.
Cheers, Steve. Much appreciated, and thanks for the kind words about the podcast. Okay, Matt, I'm unleashing you.
Could you translate for me, please?
Hey. I've got Scottish blood, you know.
Thanks for your question, Steve. So, yeah, this is a commonly reported issue and known issue by Fiat. The 160 and the 180 brake horsepower vehicles equipped with this new 9-speed automatic gearbox may experience a malfunction of the torque converter in the gearbox, which leads it into limp mode. So it will only do 30 mile an hour, however fast it will go. It is repaired under warranty, usually just with a software update. So you need to go to your main Fiat dealer to get them to check it for you, and they will do the update. I've not had a motorhome have this issue, but we have got vehicles on our hire fleet, and we've taken them to a main dealer who has done this little update for us. So definitely worth contacting your Fiat main dealer to get this checked.
So thanks for the question there, Steve. He did have a bit of a second question there, didn't he?
Warranty.
Yeah,
aftermarket. Thank you. I forgot. So yes, you can. If you contact a warranty provider like MB&G, so they are Motorhome Matt approved, and I've used them for years. They will sell you a consumer product, which is essentially an insurance product, and it would cover this. As I say, this is covered though by a Fiat warranty, which you already have on your van, provided you're getting it done within the first 2 years, if it's a European build. If it's a British built motorhome, it'll be 3 years long. So do it soon, before it gets to that age point. After that, an aftermarket warranty will cover issues like this, and they are not expensive, £300-400 maybe, sometimes less. There are many warranty providers in the market that will sell you product that will cover it.
Yep, and shop around, because every warranty isn't the same.
No, check the details, check the small print.
Yep. From Scotland to Wales, Billy Irving's in Llandyssil. I have recently bought a 2007 Bessacar E410. When I bought it, I asked the dealer if I could have a tow bar fitted to take my motorcycle with us when on tour. He agreed to do this at an extra cost. I have since discovered in the handbook that Bessacar do not recommend towing with the E410, despite quoting a train weight of 4,000 kilograms. Where do I stand towing my bike on a trailer?
Yeah, E410.
Sorry, E410, E410.
I've never heard it called an E410. I love
well, now
that.
You have. I've started a fashion, a trend. That's me. Just look.
You're quite right. There is a 4-ton train weight on the Bessacar E410. It's actually about the size of the coach built on that chassis. I would suggest getting in touch with someone like SV Tech. They are the experts on this. They are going to ask you for the VIN number, for the tyre size, and what type of suspension you've got. So whether you've got single leaf, dual leaf, or just springs, and they'll be able to advise you on what weight you can tow and whether there's anything you can do to up the train weight. So give SVTech a bell. Richard and the team, super knowledgeable, super helpful, and they undoubtedly will be able to clarify this for you.
Matt, you have my permission, if I make a cheap World War II joke, to push me off this chair. Colin is in Dudley. Can you take a jerry can and fill it at a petrol station when in France? This is to fill up our van when running the diesel heater, not to drive with a full can.
Okay. My understanding is...
never a good sign.
Yes, you can. It's again. I seem to remember the RAC recommend you don't carry more than 10 litres with you in an approved container. So whatever the BS standard is for that fuel container that you buy in a fuel station. I know Brittany Ferries limit to a 5 litre container, and you shouldn't be carrying more than that. But I also know it's illegal in Portugal to carry any amount of fuel with you in a vehicle, in any type of container other than in the fuel tank, and you should also carry 2 fire extinguishers if carrying fuel in some kind of portable container. There's another but I would suggest checking with your ferry provider or Le Shuttle if you go on the train, and you can always contact the French embassy for their latest clarification on the rules, and you can contact them in the UK.
Yeah, I read this as, can you just fill it at a petrol station when in France? I didn't think they might fill it in France and then try and bring it, say, on a ferry or Le Shuttle back to the UK. So I suppose that's an added complication, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's about where the fuel is cheapest.
Yes, yes,
so,
of course.
10p a litre adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, carrying it in a generator probably is acceptable. Carrying it in a fuel carrier is the issue, in a full fuel container.
Okay, Matt, if people want to get in touch, what should they do?
We'd love it if you did. You just head to mhmp.info/ask Matt. You can fill in the form and we'll read out your question. But we'd love it if you recorded it. Just click the orange button, record it. Please tell us where you are in the world, and then we'll play it into the podcast.
And if you're looking for trusted brands and services, then make sure you visit the Motorhome Matt approved directory. It's at mhmp.info/approved.
And we'd love it if you'd leave us a review. If you listen to this podcast and you enjoy it or find it useful, would you please leave us a review? We're trying to collect more reviews, and you can do that at mhmp.info/review.
And you can share this episode with a friend as well. But if you're YouTubing, what should you do then, Matt?
Just click the subscribe button and the little bell. And if you're listening, please follow on your favourite podcast app.